We break even for 3 hours before picking up pocket 4s onto the gun. In a game with lots of 3-betting, I may just fold small pocket pairs from early position. There hasn't been much of that at this table though. I raised to 30. We don't get through a single player. Onto the gun +1 calls. The middle position player wants to get in there. He calls. We're going 3 ways to the flop out of position. It comes Jack 10-4 with 2 clubs. We've got bottom set on a coordinated flop with multiple opponents. There's no need to slow play a hand this strong in this type of situation. I bet 60. We should be able to get called or raised by plenty of worse holdings, including 2-pair, top pair, flush draws, straight draws, and combo draws. Onto the gun +1 indeed raises to 160. Mostly this is great, but since we can have sets of jacks and 10s in our range, as well as Jack 10 suited and all the overpairs, it's a little alarming that one of our opponents is raising us even though we're the pre-flop aggressor. We bet into 2 other players. The raiser has another opponent behind him who could have sets of jacks, 10s, and 4s, plus Jack 10 in his range as well. The middle position player folds. There's so many cards we won't want to see that complete flush and straight draws. We're going to continue trying to get as much money in now as possible. If onto the gun +1 set over set us, so be it. I raised to 500 with plans to call a jam in case we're up against Jack 10 for a hand like King Queen of clubs. The opponent has 1350 total. He's not afraid to play for all of it.
Come on.
Got it?
Do you have jacks or 10s?
Nope. As the dealer puts out the King of Diamonds on the turn, we see in the bottom left that our opponent has Jack 10 offsuit for 2 pair. With only 1 card to come and 4 outs for onto the gun +1, we're in about as good a shape as possible to win a $3,000 pot. We just need to keep the dealer from devastating us by putting out a Jack or 10 on the river. Don't you do it, dealer. Don't you dare do it. She puts out the 7 of hearts. It's a safe one that gives us the victory. I'm glad to get the win. Spraggy always has something to chirp about though.
Couldn't have gone to a worse guy either.
We get a count just to confirm that we've got the opponent covered. We do. After several hours without anything too interesting happening, we win a huge pot to essentially double up and gain some momentum. As we're dealt pocket 10s in middle position. I raised to 30. Your boy Sonny's in the cutoff. He's glancing over at us like he's about to do something crazy.
Do you want me to do the same shit that he did with me?
Have you looked yet?
I saw it.
Do whatever you have to do.
Heads up. We'll just stay smart.
Just us against Sonny, out of position in a single raised pot. The flop comes 8-7-5 rainbow. Not bad. Pocket 10s can be a little tricky to play post flop when you don't make a set. We certainly need some protection. We don't want to see overcards come out or any cards that put 4 to the straight on board. In fact, there are lots of turns that'll make this difficult to play, and I prefer to win this immediately. I bet 40. The opponent doesn't think about it for too long. He wants to stick around and he calls. If he had a strong hand like an overpair or better, I'd expect him to take more time to at least consider raising. Quick calls are usually indicative of a draw of some sort. Turn cards like 4s, 6s, or 9s would concern me the most. The dealer puts out the deuce of clubs. It's one of the best cards in the deck for us. If we were ahead previously, we should still be ahead. The opponent has 695 total in his stack, and we put him on a draw that hasn't gotten there yet, so I wouldn't mind getting in stacks here. Perhaps we're up against a hand like pocket 6s or 7-6 suited. We need to charge the opponent if he wants to see the river. I bet 130. Now I'm going to take a second to ask you a question. If you were shrunk down to the size of a nickel and put in a blender, what would you do? I'm asking for my friend Sonny because that's a situation that he's found himself in. He's certainly in the blender right now.
What should I do?
Well, you've got a couple of options. You can wait for someone to fill up the blender with other items and climb your way out. This seems to be Sonny's default strategy as he's tanking for a long time. Also, if you get shrunk, your strength to weight ratio increases exponentially and you can easily jump out. Sonny puts his PF flyers on. He's about to make the leap. He's not going out though. He's going all in.
Alright, happy birthday to you, Brad.
Sonny, I'm rooting for you so hard you have no idea. Let's go.
Did you get there, Sonny?
I don't like it.
No, I missed it.
I'm upset.
All right. I have the winner then. Unless you have the winner. Do you have the winner?
One card.
Okay.
Now what it could be the next one?
I mean,
I feel like it's not a 6, but I really would love it to be.
if it is a 6, you deserve it, man. You're a good guy.
Open
You've
it.
been through a lot.
Open it.
Please.
Of course. All right.
Mamacita. It's so undeserved.
All right.
Where's my 6?
Yeah, I missed it. I missed it. I thought he doesn't. Good. Nice answer.
Thank you.
Apparently, hand strength doesn't increase exponentially when you're shrunk down to the size of a nickel and put in a blender. Sonny gets punished. We win another big all-in and are up over 2,600. It's been a great session so far. Everyone's having a good time. I've straddled from under the gun and looked down at pocket kings. The player to my left double straddled to 40 and Spraggy triple straddled, so we're playing a hand of 5, 10, 20, 40, 80 with cowboys. Today, it's almost not even fair for everyone else. It folds to me, I raise to 300. While we wait for under the gun +1's decision, we get a delivery that we absolutely don't need.
Fireballs are here.
So much.
For the record, I'd be totally happy to not have these fireballs. I've actually been doing a good job of limiting my alcohol and completed Sober October without any issues. But Spraggy's in town from England, and we don't get to hang out that much. It's nice to let loose a little bit. The player on our left has 1,055 total. He 3-bet rips it. This session is a dream come true. We're having drinks at Bellagio in Las Vegas. It's a great atmosphere at the table. Spraggy's losing. We're already up several thousand. We pick up pocket kings after straddling with 2 additional straddles on top of that, and a player 3-bet jams for 13 big blinds. If it keeps going like this, Scarlett Johansson should be walking in at any minute right after they announce over the PA that I've won a Nobel Peace Prize. Spraggy folds. There's no decision for us. We call with a stack of black chips, then leave it up to the opponent about running it once or twice.
What do you want to do? Sure, we can do twice. Hence,
We're all in against pocket 10s for another big pot, and we're running it 2 times. The first flop comes ace-8-5 all spades. It's a sweat because we don't have a spade, but the opponent does. Spraggy makes it clear who he's rooting for.
1 spade, come on.
okay, that's good.
How is this a real hand?
Spraggy's disappointed as the first board runs out with a deuce of diamonds coming on the turn and the 7 of diamonds coming on the river. We win that one and are guaranteed at least half the pot. Flop number 2 comes ace-10-6 with 2 hearts. The opponent connects and drills middle set.
Wow,
Man, I fucking
man, that's
love that.
not good.
The turn is the 4 of diamonds. We're drawing dead to 2 outs. The river is the 4 of clubs, giving our opponent a full house. It's a chop. We've run well today up to this point, so I'm okay with the outcome. Spraggy's ecstatic that we didn't scoop, while the opponent is still rooting for me in head-to-head battles against the Englishman.
Nice job, nice job.
Save your luck
How
for
does a man get 10s in a 20, 40, 80 straddle for like 800 and you have kings?
It would have been nice to have absorbed his stack into ours. Still, we're having a good night and there's reason to celebrate. Even though it's 2:15 in the morning and Sonny hasn't been dealt a hand in over a half hour, he's still hanging out with us and watching the action. It's one of the most fun poker sessions that I've ever played. Things somehow get wilder as we triple straddle, and the player who chopped the previous hand with us quadruple straddles to 160. We're playing 7-handed at the moment, and Spraggy's actually the only person who didn't put money in blind this hand.
Spraggy, you're making it 320.
Do you guys see this face? This is the face you make when you're about to not put on the final straddle, and instead are planning to kill the entire vibe by being a giant nit. I don't want to say Spraggy's the sole reason people in Las Vegas don't like playing with Euros because this may be going a little bit too far. What I will say is that this face definitely isn't helping. Meanwhile, we've got King 9 offsuit in the straddle to 80, folds to us. The opponent in the quadruple straddle is the only other player that still has cards. He started the hand with 760 total and already has 160 at risk. We're going to see if he's willing to play for the remaining amount.
All right, dude, let's go. Let's do it. We're all in.
Don't believe his lies.
This isn't a Robbie Lou interview. There's no lying. We're actually all in. The cutoff doesn't have a hand that he's able to continue with. He folds. We win $235 without anyone even calling a raise. This is about as good as it gets for a Bellagio 5-10 game. It's almost 3 a.m. and we're still going strong. Here we've got ace-9 offsuit. I bought the small blind. We're still playing 7-handed and still straddling. In fact, the gentleman who rivered the straight against us earlier on with ace-jack offsuit triple straddles to 80 with a short stack of only 430 total. Our hand is a bit uncomfortable to play from the small blind with 3 players to act behind us, but we're not folding. I raise to 250. The old man in the triple straddle realizes it's late and he has a C to get to. He jams for 180 more. There's no chance of us laying down ace-9 under these circumstances. We call. It's a fairly large size pot for a normal 5-10, but not necessarily for this out of control game that we found ourselves in. To make things more fun, we agree to flip our hands over. The opponent has King 8 of hearts. We're a slight favorite against someone who probably has episodes of Murder, She Wrote recorded on VHS at home. The dealer puts out 8-8-5 rainbow. The opponent flops trips. All of a sudden, I'm in terrible shape and drawing dead to run a runner. There's a glimmer of hope as the 6 of spades comes on the turn, giving us a gut shot straight draw. The river is the Queen of hearts, stealing the victory for the opponent. I put all the chips in the middle that I owe the gentleman. He gets me good one more time tonight in an all-in pot. This is the last big one that I'd get into before racking up a nice win an hour and a half later in one of my longest cash game sessions of the year.